Dr. Nassef Manabilang Adiong, PhD, a graduate of TCQC Elementary School, batch 1999, and TCQC High School, batch 2003. Dr. Adiong is the founder of COIRES, or International Relations and Islamic Studies Research Cohort, PHISO, or Philippine International Studies Organization, and DSRN, or Decolonial Studies Research Network. He works on interdisciplinary research between Islam and international relations and explores research studies and various policy, legal and legislative topics about the Bangsamoro communities, while he heads the Policy Research and Legal Services, or PRLS, of the Bangsamoro Program. He earned the following degree programs: PhD in International Relations from Middle East Technical University, Ankara, Turkey. PhD in Civilization Studies, all but dissertation, from Ibn Khaldun University, Istanbul, Turkey. PhD in International Area Studies, major in the Middle East and African Studies, discontinued, from Hamburg University of Foreign Studies, Seoul, South Korea. Master in International Studies from University of the Philippines, Diliman, and BA in International Studies from University of the East, Manila. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nassef Manabilang Adiong.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I just have to take this off. To the distinguished university officers, to the president, to all the deans, faculty members, and to the beloved parents who are here, only I think parents, but also guardians and family members, relatives, and friends who are supportive to the those who are going to move up to grade 11 after this commencement ceremony. Now, I just came in here in Manila because I now work with the Bangsamoro Parliament, the government of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So I flew in from Cotabato City. I had to take land transportation from Cotabato to Cagayan de Oro because I need to get my international certificate of vaccination, which is needed for to travel abroad. And then from Cagayan, I had to do it here yesterday to be with you. This, I think, momentous occasion for everyone. It's also previously I was working with the University of the Philippines as an associate professor with the Institute of Islamic Studies and Center for International Studies. But I gave up my permanent position there to provide service to my Bangsamoro people because I'm a Maranao by descent. My family members are Maranao. And with the invitation from the Speaker of the Parliament that I need to head the policy research and legal services of the Bangsamoro Parliament, when he called me, I was very glad to offer my service and give up and resign from UP Diliman just to be with the Bangsamoro. That's the reason why I'm wearing a batik. I was told I need to wear corporate attire, but with my advocacy of decoloniality, of indigenous culture, of Bangsamoro culture, I need to wear batik. As you can see in the brochure, I'm wearing an inaul, that's a Maguindanao text woven by hand. So I don't wear those necktie. I don't know what's the purpose of necktie because as I advocate decoloniality, I am in opposition with coloniality minded. That's the reason why the third organization, a research organization that I founded, is the Decolonial Studies Research Network at UP Diliman with the Center for Integrative and Development Studies. And with that, there was a program which I actually talked to university officers there that we need to build up and create a program, which is the Decolonial Studies Program. And from there on, since 2019, we have several academic activities and also instilling a decolonial approach to knowledge production, creation, and many others. There were so many issues about decoloniality that probably I might have to explore and talk about in the meantime. But I am here for you to probably provide you insight and advice on how to move up from grade 10 to grade 11. I was actually not only a product of the elementary and also high school of Trinity, but I also did my kindergarten, so I'm a product of K to 10 education at Trinity College of Quezon City at the time, but now it's now university as they gain the status of university status. So, to give you insight in choosing, because probably you're thinking what courses you were going to take on after graduating from senior high school, grade 12. Probably I think by now you are now exploring what courses, what knowledge you would like to take on in the tertiary level of your educational life. There are two things. One is creation of knowledge, and the second is the application of an existing knowledge. When I was in Oxford taking up a postdoctoral degree, I was actually surprised because when I had my examination with the doctors there at Oxford University, it's not doctor how they call their medical practitioner, but they call it GP, general practitioner. So where's your GP? You have to get booking reservation with your GP so that you get examined. The only title, doctor title, that can only be claimed and be told upon are those who are graduates of Doctor of Philosophy, those who actually create knowledge. But for the Doctor of Medicine, they will UK as the general practitioner because they apply existing knowledge compared to doctor. So it's very, very apparent that it's very comprehensive, and even the calling of professor. When I was in UP, I don't want to be called professor because I'm not yet professor. That's the highest academic rank that an academic can gain of. So they can call him doctor or associate professor because associate professor is I think the last stage that I got before providing service to Bangsamoro Parliament. So in Oxford and UK University, British universities, only a handful of academics that were able to gain professed knowledge to be called upon as professor. But I think the culture here in the Philippines is quite different. Even in UP, if you're a lecturer or instructor, you're being called as professor. But I think that's a kind of an iron culture in Philippine universities. Now, if you're going to take a look at what courses you're going to take, what degree programs, of course, it will start on your passion, on your desire, on your interest, on your passion, with the guidance of your family members, with the consent, if you would like to get the consent, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a medical doctor or an academic, it's up to you. So there is two variations, knowledge production and application of existing knowledge. The thing here, since the circumference of the colonizers 500 years ago, when they completed roundabout in their exploration, and they tried to colonize many societies. Right now, I think the Philippines is highly Western-centric. That's the reason why, whether in the formative years of our learning education, in our elementary, high school, we were actually being colonized by Western canons. And these canons that were stipulated in your literature, in your textbooks, in your any pedagogical materials, reference materials, are so and so, beleaguered by Western canons. That's the reason why, in the first instance, when I tried to learn and what could be my profession, international studies came up to my mind because I wanted to become a diplomat, but it was not so because being and becoming a diplomat is accessible to everyone. Meaning, if you want to take the foreign service of examination, any courses, any bachelor's degree or any degree programs you finish, you are, in fact, you can access and take the exam. But it's not, it's different from other countries, nation states. It's really, there's a specialist training for people who wanted to become diplomats. That was my paranoia at the time when I took Bachelor's of Arts in International Studies. And then when I took my Master's in International Studies, that's really the time that somehow I have to unlearn, because why there is no religion in international affairs? What is the role that is the significance role and position or positionality of religion in international affairs? Because when I read the texts, when I read theories, grand theories, realism, liberalism, social constructivism, feminist theories, Copenhagen School of Securitization, Singapore School of Securitization, and emancipation theory from actually from also from Copenhagen.
Nasingit
So I
niya pa
found
yun
that
ah.
there is a lack,
Emancipation
because my
of
interest also
Mimi
doing
Charot.
research on religion, especially in Islam. So I need to unlearn international relations, especially when I took up my doctoral degree at one of the universities in Ankara, in Turkey, the Middle East Technical University, or in Turkish you call it Ortadoğu Teknik Üniversitesi. When I tried, because the professors at the doctoral program that I've had are also influenced by
Ay,
Western
yung talk niya
coloniality, by
dito.
Western canons. If
Yung
you
talk
have
niya
their
dito, bayad
PhDs
siya.
from Harvard, from American universities,
Hindi.
and from also
Pero
from
to,
Western
wala
European,
lang.
European universities. So do you have this kind of notion of what could be the significant role of
Di ba pag
religion
speaker,
in
Berto, may
undertaking
volume.
international affairs, international relations,
Sarap.
globalization, global affairs?
Adi mo
I had to
lang.
learn all of those theories because I was youth-centric. I was kind of European because my dissertation was to provide an Islamic theory on international relations. And it took me 7 to 8 years to finish my, because I was also doing simultaneous doctoral program in civilization studies. But before that, I was taking also a master's degree in UP and simultaneously taking a master's degree in De La Salle University. Master's
Dalawang
in Studies
beses,
in
ay
European
dalawa
and
magkasabay.
Master's in European Studies at De La Salle
UP and De La
University. I
Salle.
was able to finish with De La Salle because I was able to get a scholarship, a full scholarship to take my
tapos
PhD
nasa
in
Pilipinas.
Turkey. I actually selected Turkey so that I could also do research, field research in Turkey as well, also and the neighboring countries of Turkey, Northern Africa, Egypt, Lebanon, Lebanon. I also even went to Israel, and also the eastern part of used to be Ottoman provinces, the eastern part of Europe. So I was acquainted to many cultures, to many, I think, thinking and about how pedagogy, how learning education was in that part of the world. So I was really a theoretician looking at the theoretical aspect of Islamic role in international relations. You have many, Islamic State, the ISIS. When you take upon and look at the Islamic actors or Muslim actors, you always take a look at conflict studies because of terrorism. Remember the war on terror by Bush and many others, Al Qaeda. So it is the only constricted part when they take a look at the role of religion to the doings and practices or practices in international and global affairs. So I was befuddled and also been asked on why, if you're going to take a look at this, there's always conflict. So I segregated my research on the conflict side, the peace and conflict side. So I went through the theoretical aspect, going back to pre-colonial, going back to classical Islamic scholars, how they brought upon. When you take a look at sociology, it was actually Ibn Khaldun who actually provided more, who started works on sociology, even before Durkheim, Max Weber, or Karl Marx. So we also take a look at political theories. There was the Grand Vizier of the Seljuk dynasty, Nizami al-Mulk, in his work, the advice to the kings. And that one was highly cited by Niccolo Machiavelli in his work print. So you can see some variations, intercultural and knowledgeable nodes of civilizations from the Middle East, from the Muslims to the Renaissance side of Europe. So you can take a look at even the works of Summa Theologica by St. Thomas Aquinas. He is actually a fan of Al-Kindi, the second philosopher. The first philosopher is, of course, in the aspect of philosophy, Aristotle. And the second teacher, the first teacher, Aristotle, the second teacher is Al-Kindi, and also with Al-Farabi. So you can take a look at the Islamic philosophers' influence also with medieval prominent theologians from St. Augustine to St. Thomas Aquinas in their works as they read these Islamic philosophers. Even the works of a grand theologian, philosopher, Moses Maimonides, or they call it in the East, in Oriental, as Ibn Musa. So you can take a look at these confluence of conglomerates of many knowledge production was part of what we are now. Although the Philippines was colonized by Spain, by America, that's the reason why our educational system is packing out from the colonizers. For example, I was looking at the curriculum when I was in my master's. The curriculum of the political science of the University of the Philippines is run because many of the pol sci departments benchmark. Usually, many of other Philippine universities benchmark on the curriculum of UPDM. So when you take a look at the historian and scan the political science curriculum, it's all about American politics. How would that American politics be useful to look at local Philippine politics or indigenous politics? So that's the reason why I provide my service to the Bangsamoro Parliament. Right now, I have really a gap. It was a psychological gap between theory and praxis because I thought that there was a supremacy of theory when I was in the academia. But I published quite a books. There will be one book, two books that will come out this year. That is the International Studies book, which was published by Routledge in UK, and then we co-signed a joint publication with Atheneum and Manila University Press to provide a Philippine edition of the international studies. So it will come out this year, and also one of the general education subject in the college, the Contemporary World, or PCW. Contemporary World is also, I think, a mandated course for all those who will be taking up college. So we also have this edited book volume on Contemporary World, which will also come out this year. So as you can see, that even though I have many books, journal articles published to many international publishers, only a handful of people who are reading my works. So when I was invited at the Bangsamoro Parliament, it was an opportunity for me to be able to provide a service that, even though I am trained as an academic, as a theoretician, provide theoretical aspects on many events in the world, especially in the Islamic side, I was able to get a handful of experience from that, from an academic experience, to be leading the policy research and legal services of the Bangsamoro government. In the Bangsamoro Parliament, which is, I call it PRMS, Policy Research and Legal Services, all of my academic trainings, so whenever we review legislative measures, when you go to Congress, they have these legislative measures, which are bills and resolutions. We take a look at our academic training and use that to review the bills, the proposed bills and resolutions by the member of the parliament, or in this case, the House of Representatives and also the Senate members. So when they craft bills that they think is amenable and also significant to address a national issue or issue confounding their local community, will come out from us, from our reviews, from our policy research reviews, especially if it's requested by a member of the parliament. So even if an academic at the first instance, I was able to do a practice side a practitioner side of providing research review, of legal review, if it's constitutional, unconstitutional, or if it's within the ordinances of certain municipality. So we use these initiative measures, bills, resolutions, or ordinances by municipality, city government, and provincial government. So there was linking the theoretical side of myself and the practice side that I'm now wearing as the director of the policy research and legal services, and helping helping the lawmaking process of the Bangsamoro Parliament. So there was a kind of an impact or an implication or an influence per se when we review bills and resolutions to be proposed at the plenary side of the Parliament. And once it has been enacted as a law by the members of the Parliament, that's the time that all of their reviews are taken into consideration, and there was a quite a direct, straightforward implication and influence to the community, whatever issues or whatever topics that the bills or resolutions are trying to address at. So this, I think, the more significant way, because at the time when I was in academia, even if I published, in high reputable journals, because that's the time you get promoted, I have many reservations at with the political economy of tenureship, of academic promotion, because it is quite through and through an influence of Western centrism in how they see knowledge production, whether knowledge production is equivalent, why Oxford, Harvard are not being accredited, why us are, subjected to accreditation, why those universities in the West are not being accredited, why us are also subject to accreditation. So there are many political economy, like Farida Latas and also Ramon Guillermo from UP, they call it academic dependency from the West of used to be Asian universities, or here in this case Philippine universities, in terms of the political economy side of knowledge production, of tenureship, of academic jobs. So it was a handle for me. So there was an implication, an influence as we review bills. So I was very, very glad I was invited, because during my academic side, I think most of even my thesis, my master's,
Nakakita ko ng
also my
natutulog.
dissertation are not being read just in the library, in the archive of the library, probably being read by spiders or insects. But now we are taking part of going to the forefront of providing our own academic sense of the rigorous
Parang
academic
hindi
reviews
ako full
of
screen.
legislative measures, of lawmaking process in Bangsamoro Parliament. So when you select programs or degree programs,
Ay,
make sure
yan
that
pala
you
yun.
are very much interested, you would like to invest in this degree programs for about 4 years. Actually, in Oxford and UK universities, the college tertiary years in the duration was only 2 to 3 years, because you already have K to 12. Much of the subjects from the previous, much of from the first and second year before the imposition of the K to 12 system, much of the subject from the first and second years was now devolved to the senior high school. But when I teach some of my classes, it didn't happen. So why some of the graduates from the grade 12, and then when they set foot to their college program, there was a kind of repetitive knowledge. So why I'm taking these courses when these syllabus, these reference materials have already been taken up in my senior high school days, in grade 11, grade 12. So why I'm being have to sit down and listen to a repetitive subject that I have already done in my senior high days. So that was actually probably one of the reservations why K-12 is now being subjected to review. And
Sinasubject na siya for review.
once
Tatanggal yun.
the newly
Maganda nga
elected
yun.
have sworn in
K to
in
12.
June of 2013. I don't want to discuss politics because I'm pretty much part of the Pink movement. So
Pink movement.
I'm just going to set aside of those whoever win the election. So So this is somehow you need to be more passionate and desire, and also be guided by your parents, your beloved parents, your guardians. If they're also, if you want to get their consent, if you're going to take the path towards medicine, engineering, it's up to you. But making sure that you also you need to be part of the conversation and the academic, because you're also a student, part of the academic community. It's not only the professor, the teacher will also spoon-fed you with all of this information. So there's a kind of a part of conversation as you take a look and go over with the journey of your tertiary education. And make sure to be critical why much more of your courses are using Western canons. We need to build our own canons, Filipino canons of knowledge production. For example, in our part, I'm trying to promote Bangsamoro knowledge production in many of the universities within the jurisdiction of the Bangsamoro government. So I'm trying to, discuss this with many universities such as Mindanao State University, Cotabato State University, among others, to provide more decolonial knowledge in the curriculum of your degree, so that when you attain and graduate from this degree programs, you have more, I think, comprehensive, widening horizon of yourself, having a dialogue with the Western canons of text, and then also bringing in your own local community, whether if you're from Cavite, Bulacan, Metro Manila, Visayas, Cebu. That's the reason why there are now Pampangan studies, Cebuano studies, Bangsamoro studies, cordially studies. So you need to bring that for the forefront as you go on with your educational journey, so that you will have a more holistic idea of what's happening in your surroundings, in your own locality, and also in the world. So thank you for the invitation. I won't keep you on hold in this ceremony, and also God bless. Thanks.
Thank you very much,
Naka-oras
Dr.
siguro
Nassef
siya.
Manabilang Adiong. The University President and the Principal will now present the School Certificate of Appreciation and token to the commencement speaker.
Talaga.
Trinity University of Asia presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Nassef Manabilang Adiong in grateful appreciation for imparting his knowledge and experiences as guest speaker during the 7th Junior High School Moving Up Ceremony held on June 24, 2022 at University Theater, Trinity University of Asia, Quezon City, Philippines. Given this 24th day of June 2022 at Trinity University of Asia, Cathedral Heights, Quezon City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Julius D. Somera, Principal, Trinity University of Asia High School. Ms. Matilde C. Asuncion, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Dr. Howell T. Ho, Vice President for Academic Affairs. And Dr. Gisela D. Aiduna, University President. The junior high school completers will now be presented by Dr. Julius D. Somera to the University President, Dr. Gisela D. Aiduna.